and welcome to this week's movie talk, where we have the opening weekend of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1, to discuss, and we also have other box office news to discuss, such as Sound of Freedom, Insidious, The Red Door second weekend drop, and the disaster that is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Let's get started with Mission Impossible. So this movie was expected to open around 65 to 75 million. At least last weekend it was. For the 3-day, and around 90 million for the 5-day. So I'm going to say about 70 for the 3-day, 90 for the 5-day. It came in at 56 for the 3-day and 80 for the 5-day, which might sound bad on paper, and the entire industry is proclaiming Mission Impossible underperforms. But it didn't. This is an opening exactly in line with almost every other Mission Impossible movie. The first one opened to 45. The second one opened to 57. The third one opened to about 47. The fourth one opened to 13, but that only opened in IMAX when it first opened, so that's an asterisk. The fifth one opened to 55, or about this level, and the sixth one opened to around 60. This one opening at 56 is pretty much par for the course for this franchise. And most of the movies in the franchise have topped 200 million domestic. Will this movie top 200 million domestic? We'll have to see. The worldwide numbers are looking a lot better. A $235 million global debut is pretty impressive. I mean, the international numbers, they've saved movies many times. They saved Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. They saved pretty much every single Fast and Furious movie. Mission Impossible does make the bulk of its business overseas, and as you can see, it opened to 155 million. If you add up the 80 and 155, that means the global debut was around 235, which is the best, I believe, for a Mission Impossible movie. The last Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Fallout, made almost 800 million. I do not think this movie will get to 800 million. I think it'll likely get to around 700 million worldwide. So I would say around 200 million domestic, 500 million internationally, and 700 million worldwide. It has good word of mouth, and a cinema score. It's pretty good. Most of the Mission Impossible movies have gotten A minuses or less. Well, actually, no. I think they've all gotten A minus. An A for this franchise is pretty good. That's the same as Fallout. So I think the legs for this are gonna be good. It'll probably get to 200 million. We'll have to see what its second weekend drop is, considering it's going up against Barbenheimer next week, which is expected to light the box office on fire. So we'll have to see. But its opening weekend was definitely impacted by Sound of Freedom, which went up by 37% in its second weekend. It didn't even add that many theaters, only added like 100. Most movies, this movie opened to like 18, I think. Most movies drop significantly. Even movies with strong legs experience their second weekend drop, not a second weekend increase. This is very unusual. The word of mouth on this has been incredible. An A+ cinema score, 100% on the Rotten Tomatoes audience score. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. And I think if this movie was not here, you would have seen movies like Mission Impossible, like, Indiana Jones do better. The media seems to be very against this movie. They're not really talking about it at all. When they do talk about it, they are very negative about it. Like, they've been trying to outright kill this movie. And I think audiences are saying, no, we want to see this movie. Media, you can't tell us what we can and cannot like, because we like this movie and we're going to see it. On TikTok, it's really been being pushed. And I could see, so it's at 27 million this weekend. We'll see how it goes against Barbenheimer next weekend. So, I would say it could add as much as 100 million throughout the rest of its run. And that could finish its run with around 200 million, which would be shocking because you never see low-budget movies like this make so much money. If it ends its run with 200 million domestic, that would put it in the same tier as John Wick Chapter 4 and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I think it would put it in the top 5 for the summer top 10. It would be impressive if it got to 200 million. Let's just put it that way. And with that, let's go to last weekend's big winner, which was Insidious: The Red Door, which had a 61% drop, which may sound steep, but most horror movies drop in like the high 60s or even 70s. I believe a few of the Insidious movies have dropped like high 60s, low 70s. So the fact that this has a pretty good second weekend drop, it's not embarrassing, is really good. I mean, it added another 13 million. It's at almost 60 million domestic. It shot past 100 million worldwide. This movie is doing just fine. I really have nothing else to say about it because it's really doing really good for the franchise. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like lighting the box office on fire, but it's certainly doing well. Last weekend I said that the number to beat is around 84 million for this to become the highest grossing movie in the franchise. And I did not think it could get there because of how low it opened. Well, I mean, it had the second biggest debut of the franchise, but it opened low enough for it not to get to 84 million. And I now think it will. It only needs another like 17 million, and it's at 13 million this weekend. It would have to really plummet next weekend to not become the biggest movie in the franchise. With that said, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is a true embarrassment. It's doing better than The Flash. With these numbers, this movie had a $300 million budget, and it's just now approaching $300 million worldwide after 3 weeks. The international number of 157 is what Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 opened with. The international numbers for this thing are not there. They're just not there. It fell another 56% in its third weekend. The same drop it had last weekend. I'm not going to say it's DOA, because it is making some money, but it's definitely a massive flop. The movie likely needed to make 800 to 900 million to break even, and I don't even think it'll get to 400 million. The Flash likely needed to do around 600 million, and it's like not going to do 300. So this movie and The Flash are the two biggest flops of all time. That's shocking. It's dead. Indiana Jones is dead. As for the rest of the top 10, Elemental is holding very strong, only dropping 13% this weekend, adding another $9 million. That's really well. Is that 125 domestic? I could see this movie getting as high as 160, potentially even 170. I mean, it leapfrogged past The Flash last weekend. Now it's still climbing the charts. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, still the number one movie of the summer. I think it will probably end that way. The movie is doing really good. Transformers: Rise of the Beast has had a lot of very small drops. This weekend, 33%. It's now at over 150, meaning that it has actually passed Transformers Last Night and Bumblebee. Joyride fell 56% in its second weekend. This movie's not doing good. The Little Mermaid looks like it might get to 300 million. It's really crawling. As for the summer domestic top 10, Sound of Freedom debuts at number 9, and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 debuts at number 10. No other changes in the rest of the top 10, but I do expect by next weekend Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will likely increase to number 4. Barbie opens at... It depends on how big a Barbie opens, but The Flash, I think, will drop out. By the end of August, The Flash won't be on this list. Yearly top 10, no changes here. No changes here. It's the exact same. The worldwide top 10, again, no changes here. Although Transformers is very close to being in the top 10. It is at $420 million. This coming weekend, you have Barbie and Oppenheimer. Barbie is expected to open in between 115 and 155 million. The lower end would make it the third biggest debut of the summer. The higher end would make it the biggest debut of the year. Oppenheimer is just okay. That's this weekend's movie talk. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next weekend.